Hello there. Today I'm going to be talking about Tropical Storm. First, let's give us a wrap on Tropical Storm Dolly. So, Tropical Storm Dolly produced about uh, about 2/3 of an ace point. It reached about 45 mile per hour winds. It dissipated at 11 a.m. And that's really all. It was kind of just early season tropical storm. So, here's the just a remnants of it. You can see dead. Just a quick little visible so you can see the little swirly. If it would load. Yeah, look, little swirly right there. Yeah, you can see just dead. Coast of Nova Scotia right there, North Nova Scotia. So let's move on to the main topic today. And see, we have Tropical Depression 3. It's currently, as of 5 a.m. 5 a.m. Hawaiian Standard Time, 35 mile per hour winds, 107 central pressure, located at 10 north, 133 west. It's moving west at 7 miles per hour. Taking a look at the cone, you can see it's forecast to start moving north, eventually dissipate by about Saturday or Friday night. Forecast a peak at 50 miles per hour. So it's looking at the forecast discussion, if that would go somewhere. Looking at the forecast discussion, you can see so small low southwest of the southern tip of Baja, so pretty far southwest actually. Has acquired enough organized convection near its center and southwest of the center to be designated a TD. Thus, advisories are being initiated. And it was named Tropical Depression 3E. But it may be Boris soon. So it's moving. So the cyclone is forecast to weaken as it gets sheared away, and it's going to start to move westward within the next 1 to 3 days. And the cyclone should be weakening with the low-level trade winds becoming main steering mechanism in a west-southwestward motion. It's going to start to move west-southwestward. And so the official forecast is pretty close to the various consensus models. The conditions appear favorable for strengthening, so it has a window to get stronger for the first 36 hours or so. The depression is expected to strengthen to a tropical storm during that time, but beyond that, increasing wind shear and dry air will cause gradual weakening. Most of the forecast dissipation, most of the global models forecast dissipation near about 5 days. The peak intensity of 45 knots is like the upper end of intensity guidance, with the remainder of the forecast near the intensity consensus. So you can see forecast to peak 50 miles per hour within the next 1 to 2 days. Going to become a tropical depression and weaken to that state within the next 3 days. By day 3. So not expected to be especially long-lived. Looking at the track guidance, you can see it's forecast to stay well south of Hawaii. Hawaii's up there. You can also see the intensity guidance that it is in fact expected to remain generally below 50 miles per hour. Few models keep it as depression. Few bring it up between weak tropical storm status, but most of the models don't do anything with it. So expected to be kind of a short-lived tropical depression, tropical storm. To our next kind of invest, we have the invest 90. I believe it's a 93E or 92. I think it's 93E. So you can see it's an elongated, broad area of showers and thunderstorms located southwest of Baja, but it's not expected to do much. Moving into colder waters Yeah. Looking at the loop for 3E, you can see it's having a hard time getting convection into the center. Looking at the zenith, you can kind of see that the convergence is really lopsided towards the south, and the divergence is very lopsided too. The vortex is about right here, but I'm not sure if that's based on forecast interpolation or however you say that word, or what. See, the model consensus just follows the NHC track pretty closely. The sea surface temperatures, Reynolds SST, you can see it starts to move over colder waters by that time. Right now it's over about 28 sea waters. The 26 sea line is about 15 north. But yeah, you can see it's not really expected to do much. So just taking a look at the rest of the cast period and just the EPAC, you can see located to the west of these two I've talked about is 70% within the next 48 hours. You can see that one's producing some showers and thunderstorms. So let's take a look at the model guidance for that one. So you can see generally that this one's forecast to move off to the north-northwest and eventually just turn westward for eventually dissipating. But of course, the intensity guidance for this one is a little stronger, but not that much stronger. Most models only bring it to about 40 to 50 knots. So I would expect the NHC forecast to be around 50 miles per hour. But yeah, this kind of pitiful early season Eastern Pacific storm. So not much really. Yeah, so you can see ensembles are a little more bullish, but not that much more. Taking a look at like the operational global models for this system, you can see that the GFS really decides to spin it and doesn't really give it much. Gives it about 101 to 998 central pressure, or dissipating it at about hour 120. The CMC, on the other hand, does give it a little more. Actually, not really. It gives it only 103 ECMWF, so the Euro model does still form it, but it only gives it a central pressure of 103 as well. The Icon, which is kind of a global model that isn't as used as much because of its accuracy, brings it down to 999. Looking at our hurricane models, well, I'm pretty sure the H4 isn't running. Yeah, it's not running on that invest, but okay. So just looking at the AVT for the Dorvik technique for our tropical depression, you can see currently it's at 105.5 millibars, and yeah, so it pretty well matches the NHC forecast. I mean the NHC current intensity. Yeah, so let's just give one more little glance to a possible CAG formation event that I talked about, I think yesterday it was. So again, the GFS hasn't given up on it yet. Doesn't show anything super strong like it did in the 06Z yesterday. Big hurricane headed towards the Texas coast. See, it still does have a hurricane, and it still does have like a tropical storm, and it brings it 992 into West Florida. Again, it's still too early to know any of the details. What we do know is that there could be a Central American gyre formation about 180 to 40 hours between days like 7 and 10. There could be a formation of a Central American gyre, but it's still too early to know a lot of the details. Another threat that we should be watching for tropical development, not much of a threat, not as much of a threat or anything, is a low off the east coast of the US. Let me see if I can get that. I can get a zoom view on that. Yeah. A 993 low off the US coast. Just looking at how tropical it is, you can see it's a little tropical, a little frontal. So again, I think that should be monitored as it crosses over the Gulf Stream waters, but again, it's pretty far out to know much detail. So yeah. Well, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this discussion. Sorry